Hello everyone, it is Sunday the 1st of August, so I thought I'd record a bit of an update of what I did in July. There's only 4 projects that I'm going to go through, just the full coverage ones. Starting off with Faces of Fairy, my attempt at being monogamous, well mostly monogamous, but I'm going back to a rotation. I'm just holding this steady, so I don't have any free hands, but I was at her second eye, the lower of the 2 eyes. I finished that off first thing, so that gives you an idea of, down from there is all that I stitched in most of July. I just took 7 days at the end to work on something else. So, for the most of July, it was Faces of Fairy. And I got a lot done on her. But, as you can see, there's a lot of blocks of colour. Well, that black, mostly. Oh, so bored of black. And there is a lot of black left to stitch as well, because it's her outfit. So I've got the sword that she's holding, and then the orange blob next to that is a dragon. So that started, that wasn't even there before, and then obviously I've worked more on her with her face mask on. So I did 12,510 stitches. She is over 3/4 done now. In fact, I only have between 8,000 and 9,000 stitches left to do. So, considering the time that I spent on her last month when I did 12,000, she's not far from a finish. But I'm going to take a bit of a longer break and not work on her in August. So the plan is, I really desperately want to work on Trick or Treat. I really love that piece, and it's huge, it's going to take forever. So the rotation, going forward, I've gone back to a rotation, is similar to how I stitched this month. For the majority of the month, I'll work on a main piece. So, and that's going to switch between 2 every other month, so as I was doing before. So, Trick or Treat is going to be that piece. I really want to spend as much time as I can on that. I really do like it. As I said before, it's huge, it's going to take ages to do. So, I like it. For the last 7 days of the month, I was working on a smaller piece. I'm actually going to work on a stitch in time. Get that out every month, 1 week, and stitch on that. Again, it's something that's going to take ages to stitch. I really don't know if I've got the patience to stitch on that for most of the month in the way that I'm doing for other projects. So for now, that's going to stay 1 week a month. It's seeing progress that way, and every 2 and a bit months I get a page finish, so that's good enough for me. What was I going to say? Right, and then the other main one for the month will be this one, so September. This comes out again, and I need to get her finished. I really do think I should be able to get her finished, considering how much I've done this month. I want her finished, so that is the target, to get her finished in September. So that will be one done, and then her place will be taken by Deathhead Moth, because again, I'm very close to finishing that one as well. I think I've only got 1 full-size page left to go, everything else is partials. So after this, Deathhead Moth takes its place. Then, once that's finished, because I'm planning all the finishes. Once that's done, I think I'll put Unicorn in that place. Again, it's one I'm not sure how I feel about spending all that time on. It's got a lot of colour changes to it. It's not as comfortable stitching as some of my others. We'll see if I can change a few things around as I come to do it. So that will be hopefully those 3 kind of getting done throughout the remainder of this year and next year, along with working on my bigger piece and stitching time. So that's enough of gazing at her. I think she'll be finished in September. Hope so. Really hope so. This one's on 18 count, by the way. It's 2 strands. So actually I'm a little bit slower with stitching it because I'm trying to make the stitches look neat and tidy, which they don't always do. But it is Ada, so it's easy to stitch. So that is that, and I will just turn the camera off and get switched over to another project. And she's back again. You'd hardly notice. So this one is more precariously balanced than Faces of Fairy was. So wobbly camera work, I'm afraid. I'll try not to. There we go. So, again, no free hands. So I can't point things out. But when I last stitched on this, and I can't think off the top of my head when that was, I was kind of doing diagonal blocks because I was trying to get through that horrible part of the shelf at the top, which I don't know. I struggle with it. I think it's the flowers that are in it. It's the flowers in this piece that are the bit that make you want to rip your hair out. So it's kind of, imagine a diagonal line following the diagonal of that poster because the colours were leaking across into other blocks, so I was following them still. So this one is quite nicely divided up though, because you've got the edge of the books and the vignette that's just appearing. So I've done most of that kind of brown window. That was this month, and the poster this month, and brought the books down to the other poster, which I did yesterday. I've only got so much done because I had a week holiday from work, so I could spend more time sewing because we didn't go anywhere. Went for a day trip to Leeds, but other than that, we didn't go anywhere. So, let's see. I stitched that. That was in 7 days work, and I did 4,932 stitches, which is amazing because I thought that poster was going to be really bad. It wasn't too bad. It didn't. The stitches flowed. It wasn't horrid. I was expecting it to be terrible. Little balloon's got several colours in it. I like the hot air balloon. And I've just got down to her face, which as always looks weird until you get all the other colours around it, so you can start making sense of the colours that are reflecting back into her face. At the moment she looks like she's had a touch too much sun. But she'll even out as I get there. So, yay, loads of stitches done. I don't know when my next holiday is, but it's not next month. So yeah, just still, it'll be just normal evening and weekend stitching. So I hope to get the page finished though. I'm very close to finishing the page. A few days should do it. And then I get started on the next page, which is the last full-size page of the row. There's a partial page after that. So I'm getting close to finishing the first row. Have a little scan across of what I've done so far. I'm really impressed with how much I managed to get done on this. I've already done most of that. Oh, there's so much confetti in those words. I wanted to give up back then. So there we have it. A Stitch in Time will be an every month project for the last 7 days of the month. Oh, this one is stitched on 28 count Monaco, 1/1 full crosses. Monaco is quite a dense weave, close weave, so can be a little troubling to see the hole sometimes. And a lot of the time I seem to go through the thread of the fabric rather than the hole in the fabric. So there's a lot of frustration and undoing and trying to do that stitch again and get it in the right place. So, there we have it. And I shall switch projects again. Right. They get easier to show now because I don't have them on big quantum frames because these are not worked downstairs in my regular sewing setup. So the next two projects are projects that I am working on at other times during the day. So this is Bizarre Bookshelf. It is a totally huge piece from Gecko Rouge. I'm just kind of getting into a drawer because I've got the front cover there. There's so much glare. I've had to put so many lights on because it's raining today. So we have Bizarre Bookshelf, and I'm working in that bookshelf that's right in the top left corner. So you can see how much I have to do. It's huge. I'm doing the 25 count, so 31.9 by 20.4, 798 by 510 stitches, and yeah, 158 colours. Yeah. I said before, I don't like having huge amounts of colours to flip between and balance with, but this one I don't mind, because I've got it on 4-thread organisers, the lengths that I'm working through at the moment, and there's different colours in different book cubbies, so I don't think anyone uses all those colours, so it's possible to get on a bit of a run with the colours. So it's not stressing me out at all. So there's sometimes where you get 1 or 2 stitches of just one colour. That's going to happen everywhere, but it doesn't feel like it's all the time, which is how I imagine Max Colours would feel. I'm probably making that up completely and it doesn't feel like that at all, but I think some of them do. I've seen people complain about stitching their Max Colours. So this piece I started in March. I was feeling a little bit stressed and I decided, and it arrived and I started it. Because no better excuse than I want to start it. So I stitched this during my lunch breaks at work because at the moment I am still working from home. And I'm really hoping that that doesn't change because I can get so much more work done when I don't keep having people coming over and asking me about how the work's going. It's funny that, isn't it? When I don't have the feeling that someone's there, I just get it done. It's easy. It's nice and relaxed and chilled. I really don't like a lot of noise around me. I'm very, very introverted. I'm painfully shy. It does actually cause me pain to have to talk to someone that I don't really know. So for me, working from home is it's the best. Even if I just have to deal with people over a video call, that's a lot quicker than having them face to face with you in person. I don't know, I like it. It's working well for me. So hopefully that will stay happening, and I can continue to use my lunch breaks to stitch on Bizarre Bookshelf, because I'm already 2 pages done. Now, I was a bit more than 2 pages, because what I've done is I've worked... So this isn't a page, this is page 3. And I think the cut-off for the page is up here somewhere. But actually, the bottom of the shelf, the bottom of the cubby, so that's kind of a shelf divider will be there. Or the edge of the shelf will be across here. So what I'm doing is I'm working it down, and then over here somewhere on page 4 is the end of this cubby and the start of the next one. So what I'm thinking of doing, because I've just done three of the dark colours. So there's a dark, there's a black, as far as I can make out black, one of the very dark browns, and a very dark green, all in there making up those dark sections. Again, this is a Gecko Rouge kit, and I'm working the page a colour at a time. I can't do that on the stitching time. I don't know if it's the fabric or just the sheer amount of colour changes, but I struggle to do that. Also, it's not gridded, so I'd have to kind of grid it, and I can't be bothered with that anymore. The way I stitch is easy enough to do without a grid. But I do like this. I do like working my Gecko kits a colour by colour through the page. It makes no sense at all. So what I do is I pick out the dark colour, the black, if I can identify it, and I work with that. So what I'm going to do is I can work out on page 4 where the edge of the cubby is. So what I'm going to do is those 3 colours I'm going to work in that section as well, so I can get to the edge. And then I've got the bookshelf bit up here, so I can work that round and down when I get to that. So what did I do in July? I think I did most of this. I probably had, I had some of the dark done, but then I started just picking out a colour and working it, trying to work it as I normally would, which is fine for when I can sit down and concentrate on things, but when I've got like 45 minutes to an hour, it's lots of threading and rethreading, because I'm only using the thread organisers and not the needle organisers, and I don't want loads and loads of needles, 153 needles threaded, so I just use the one needle and thread it. So that, again, that's why colour by colour works better for that method, because I can just thread the needle and go. So I'd got most of the dark done. Then I started that, and I thought, now I'm going to go back to how I was doing it, and I filled in the rest of the dark. So I had started page 2 in July, I believe, before July. So I got that finished. Again, it benefited from holiday stitching, because it became, instead of just being lunchtime, it was my morning stitch. So what time I had between getting up and doing stitching. But again, I only did it on the weekdays, so I only got the days it would normally have got, but it got extra time during those days, and that was really good for helping me to get these books finished off, and the little man in his hammock mostly done. Obviously got the rest of him here to do. So we've got another book to come there. Some paintbrush, there's some steps, there's something there, red. That's the top of a paint tube, and that actually goes down into the next cubby, so I'll work on what I can on that. And there's 2 books here, and there'll be another book there. See, because you're filling all the dark stuff first, you can kind of see the outlines of where things go. So, yeah, I'll be carrying on with this during my lunch breaks and seeing how much of page 3, bit of page 4 I can get done. So this is actually on Q-Snaps because it's so big. I don't actually have any bars big enough for it anyway, but that doesn't matter because I'm just stitching on it upstairs in my craft room. So it's on Q-Snaps for now. I got a 17 by 11, but because I'm at the top, the 11's too far for my little arms to reach. So I've made a 17 by 8. And that fits the cubby in comfortably. I'll be able to get the whole thing in. And then once I finish this cubby, I'm going to work down. So it's like five little book cubbies down. So I'll be stitching them in those because the columns all line up. So I'm going to do that. At that point I may switch to a 17 by 11 just because I'll have space to move it to where it's comfortable to stitch, and I'll still be able to see the previous one a bit. I have no reason why to move. It might be a bit easier to balance things. Everything gets balanced precariously as I stitch. It reminds me of the old days. I used to balance a scroll frame on my knees. It wasn't very ladylike. It was actually quite comfortable then. I was bendier then. That's like 30 years ago. It's a long time. It's not that long. Not yet. Nearly. Yeah. So, there we go. This is, I think I mentioned it's a kit by Gecko Rouge. It is 25 count, easy count fabric, and it's 1/1 for crosses, and hey, I love it. So I'll just switch projects. Oh, hang on, let me tell you, I got 5,548 stitches done on this. It is amazing how much I can get stitched when I'm concentrating for an hour. Like sometimes when I'm just doing like when it's big bits of like one colour, so the only time you're swapping thread is when you've run out. I can get 200 stitches done in an hour. That's unheard of, unheard of for me. I'm a fast stitcher, but not that fast. Even when I'm changing colours a lot, I don't think I've had. Let me check. I'm gonna check because I've got all my numbers with me. I had one day when I did under 150 stitches in the hour. That is some good going. So, A for concentration. So, I think that's it for that now. I'm going to switch on to the last piece. Be back shortly. And here we are with the final piece I've stitched this month, and it's on the hoop, and it's going to stay on the hoop because I'm working on it this morning once I've finished recording all my bits and pieces. So again, it's another Gecko Rouge kit. It is Nightmare, the artist is Medusa Dollmaker. This one is on 25 count Magic Guide. It's an older kit. I started it in 2019 and did the first page because it was when we were having the house renovations done, and I was confined. I think we were confined to 2 rooms really, so I needed something small. I do have smaller things I could have picked, But this one was easy too, especially that first page. It's just this background and a little bit of Dog Zero. So it's obviously Nightmare Before Christmas characters, and they are dressed up to, I think they're celebrating Cinco de Mayo, which is an appropriate holiday for them. So I was on page 2. I can't remember how much of page 2 I was doing. Oh, rewind a bit. I stitched this piece at the weekend mornings. I was stitching a sampler, but when I'm stitching upstairs, I've got my kits nearby, and they kind of just constantly whisper, "You would rather be doing full cross stitch, full coverage. Do full coverage, you prefer that." So I had to listen to them, but I didn't start a new one. I went back to one that I'd already started because my conscience wouldn't let me start another. So I really like this piece. It's like, why am I not stitching on this bit? So get too distracted by nice new sparkly stuff. And I've got existing sparkly stuff that's lovely. This is one of them. So yeah, I finished page 2 this month. I can tell you there were 7 weekend days, because yesterday, the extra month. There's a lot of weekend days in July. No, 9. Yeah, 9. We had 4 whole weekends and 1 one-day weekend, because the other one-day weekend is today. I think I'm remembering 6 from the one before, where I didn't start it I didn't get back to it until partway through June. Anyway, rambling. This one I have stitched 4,613 stitches, which is a huge amount. Guess what? it's all this. It's all the purples. I am going to slow down now because I have finished all those purples, and what I have now is I've stitched all the light stitches. Can you see? Can you see there? The lightest stitches. Stitched all the lightest. They've kind of got like this. There we go. Light border around everything, and then you've got the lines. Now that line, as you can see from that, is not one constant colour. There are so many colour switches in this. His eye doesn't look too bad. I thought his eye was looking a little messy because I stitched the white last on that and I wasn't happy with it. So I stitched it first this time, and it's terrible. I hate stitching light on light. You can't see where you're going, you can't see where you've been. Very tricky. So I'm bringing the other colours in now, and there's a couple of colours here, move all the way across over to the other side and do a few more colours over there. So we have giant snake, we have more of the tentacle. I'm not sure if it's Oogie Boogie. I'm not sure. I think it should be. And then in here, like, you're going to have any kind of chance of making that out, is Jack Skellington's hand. And over here we have part of the face of Barrel, because the rest of him is over on the next page. The page actually ends here somewhere, but I didn't want a straight line, so I moved across to where the next pumpkin repeat was. And actually I followed some of the light colours around as well, because I had thread on my needle. So yeah, I would be very surprised if I could get this page finished in August. I'd like to, obviously, because that would be page 3 done. But I think on Pattern Keeper, I'm going to go through, because you don't get the DMC numbers for the Gecko kit, so everything's numbered 1 to whatever it finishes at. I think this is 90. Not sure, can't tell easily. Well, I haven't got the bit of paper with it, it's buried. It's buried on the landslide that is my filming next to me. I thought I'll do an update because it's only 4 projects, so it'll be so much easier. There's an explosion of fabric and threads, isn't there? So, as I was saying, I'm going to pick colour number 1 and stitch colour number 1 and then just work through the list. Obviously, some of those colours are already done because I've been plugging away at them. What I was doing was stitching a length of purple and then picking a light colour and doing some of it and then going back and doing more purple. So alternating, it's much easier. Much easier than trying to work all the blocks out once. The goal for this weekend was to get the background finished, and I finished that yesterday. So, yay, so let's see how many of the colours I can get through this month. And if I can get to page 4, that would be really good. Page 5 is a partial, but I think it's almost all background, so page 4 will be the last of the characters on this top row of pages. So it's not a very big piece. I really do like the colours on them. They're quite muted. I don't know how well that's picking them up. It's colourful, muted colourful, and I really like that. So, yay. So, I think that's all I have to tell you this month. Obviously I've been working away on my small pieces, but we have enough of an explosion of stuff going on here to just drag those out. So, as and when I get them finished, I'll add them into the update videos, but I probably won't do anything dedicated for them. So I've already gone through my plans for August, which will involve this and the bookshelf again. Trick or Treat is the main one, which I'll be stitching this afternoon, and a stitching time at the end of the month. Now I'm already thinking ahead to next time Trick or Treat comes out, which is October. So I kind of really thinking about doing a stitching time first that month. So just so I can work on Trick or Treat at Halloween, because that just seems perfect. I've got a couple of months to think about that. How quickly are we getting through this year? So, yay, that's it for me. That's my plans for next month. I hope you're all doing well. Thank you for dropping by and watching and listening to the rambling. And I hope that you've had a great month for stitching as well. I've certainly managed to get a lot done and I'm really happy with that. And I'll see you all again at the end of August, beginning of September. Bye for now.